You need to learn Windows right now. No, you really do, and let me tell you why. Microsoft Windows is everywhere. It has over 75% of the desktop market, meaning out of all of the desktop OSs out there, 75% are using Microsoft Windows. And that's a lot of people and a lot of businesses. And that's the biggest thing I want to focus on. Why does that matter? Why do you care? Jobs. If you want a job in IT, knowing Windows from the admin support perspective, it's required, especially if you're just starting out trying to get that first job in IT, usually a help desk. And think about it, it just makes sense. If most companies use Windows, most companies need people like you with Windows skills. And by the way, I'm not just talking about, oh, I've launched command prompt before. I mean actually knowing Windows, how to support it, administer it, fix it, break it. And speaking of breaking, that's another thing. If you want to become a hacker, ethically, of course, how can you not learn Windows? Most of the time, it's gonna be the thing that you're hacking. And you can't hack it if you don't know it. You can't hack it. Like seriously, check this out. I'm going for this new hacking certification from Hack the Box called the CPTS, so I can become less of a hacking noob. And look at the prerequisites. Windows. So, you gotta know Windows. And in this video, I'm going to introduce you to Windows. And you may think you already know Windows, you don't. There's a big world of Windows that you haven't even thought of, and that's what we're covering in this video. It's more than just a desktop you play games on or run Excel, I don't know what users do. And then I'll also show you what it means to know Windows. The difference between having user knowledge and having admin knowledge, which is the knowledge you'll get paid for by companies. That's what you want, right? I'll also show you how you can start building out your own Windows lab, because you gotta have that. If you wanna learn something in IT, you have to play with it, you have to break it. And even if you're a Mac and Linux user, I'm gonna show you how to get access to this. And finally, if I convince you to learn Windows and you want to learn it as a skill, I'm going to show you some resources, courses and certifications that you can take that will teach you Windows. And by the way, I'm creating a little Windows Fundamentals course right now that you can check out, link below. But I'll talk more about that here in a bit. Now we're going to cover a lot, so before we do that, let's take a quick coffee break and talk about something a little controversial. Kind of the elephant in the room. Windows is really insecure, right? Like people who are using Windows are always getting hacked. Yes, I'll give you that. Windows people are always getting hacked. But it's not because Windows is insecure. It's because it's popular. If you're a hacker writing malware, you're gonna write malware for the masses. So as a Windows user, what can you do to protect the most targeted OS in the world? Use NordVPN, the sponsor of this video. Now I know what you're thinking. What? That doesn't make any sense. NordVPN is just a NordVPN, right? How's it gonna protect me against malware and phishing attacks and all these nasty things coming at my Windows PC? It's just a VPN, right? No, actually not. If you haven't looked at NordVPN in a while, it's got a few new tricks up its sleeve. For example, they've got threat protection now. So in addition to being the fastest VPN that'll hide your IP address, giving you a bunch of cool features, you can now go into your NordVPN app, click on that little shield there, and turn on web and file protection with just one click, or 2 clicks if you're turning on both. With that, you're getting malware protection. You try to go to malicious websites and it won't let you do it. It protects you from you. Like seriously, if you try to download an infected file, with file protection it says, no, don't do that. It's also gonna help out with blocking trackers, blocking ads. It's kind of like having AdGuard or Pi-hole with you all the time, and a URL trimmer, essentially getting rid of URL tracking. Now what's cool about threat protection is that it's on all the time, even when you're not connected to VPN. It's got your back on cyber threats 24/7. Now beyond threat protection, NordVPN does something I don't see anyone else doing, and it's kind of cool. Check this out. Right now on my network, I configured my firewall to block VPN connections. So check it out. I'll try to connect to a US VPN, and it's just gonna sit here and try to connect, because my firewall can recognize VPN traffic and go, no, you're not getting through. So I want to stop that, it's not gonna happen. But NordVPN now has obfuscated, a very fun word, servers right here. Watch what happens when I try to connect with one of those new servers. Click, going to Florida, hi Nick, and connected. Now, why did that work? Because my firewall couldn't recognize it. It obfuscated, or bewildered, my firewall to where it couldn't recognize the VPN traffic. Super cool, super handy. If you want to try it, check it out, nordvpn.com/NetworkChuck. I got a link below. Seriously, if you don't have a VPN, or you don't like the one you're using, or if you do like the one you're using, switch anyway. Use NordVPN, support the channel, check it out, link below. And seriously, thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video and making things like this possible. Here we go, part 1. Let me show you just how big Windows is. Stuff you can't even fathom. But first, Windows a history, as fast as possible. In fact, can I do it in 60 seconds? Editor, give me 60 seconds somewhere. Ready? Let's go. Windows was born in 1985. It was a GUI or graphical interface for MS-DOS. Couldn't do much. The most fun was the clock program. In 1990, something amazing happened. my wife was born. Also, Windows 3.0. This thing was revolutionary. Software and file icons. It looks dumb and slow right now, but this was groundbreaking and also kind of fun. You gotta try this. I've got a link below, you can do it for free. Look at Control Panel. It's amazing. It gave us virtual memory, Minesweeper, and Solitaire. I was always terrible at Solitaire. Not long after that was Windows 3.1, which gave us Windows Media Player. This is seriously pretty fun, you have to try this. This one I had to build out myself in VirtualBox. In 1995, we had Windows 95. Let's start it up. You hear that? Windows 95 kind of feels like home. It gave us our taskbar, our start button. This was my first computer OS. In 1998, we have Windows 98. Oh man, this brings back the memories. And it seems much like Bill Gates' demo of Windows 98. Mine is failing. Look at us, me and Bill.
You'll notice that this scanner build, whoa.
But it gave us improved USB support, multiple monitors, which is kind of huge. They were actually really big, like the one behind me back there. And it just looked prettier. I wish I could look at it right now. Then things got weird. We got Windows Me, or Millennium Edition. Came out in the year 2000, it was terrible. But it did come with automatic updates, system restore, and Windows Movie Maker, which is where I made my first YouTube video. Fun fact, it was the original Cinnamon Challenge. And it's the reason I'm doing what I am doing today. But it wasn't all lost. Windows 2000 came out in the year 2000. This was actually pretty good. It had a server version of the same name, and it brought in Active Directory, which is what we still use today. Then we brought out the big guns. 2001, my favorite Windows OS of all time, Windows XP. Let's start this bad boy up. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh. People use this OS forever. In fact, it was the first OS I supported on the help desk. I had to migrate people off of XP to Windows 7. This thing was amazing. It was stable, it brought in remote desktop, it was a beautiful OS, mainly because it had pinball. I know my timer's out, I don't care. I'm just gonna play pinball. In 2006, we had Windows Vista and no one liked it. I thought it was okay. I had a good time. But it brought in Windows Search, Windows Defender, and user account control, all of which we use today. 2009 brought in Windows 7, the only good replacement for Windows XP. It was beautiful, had great performance, security, it was great. And then we had Windows 8, which wasn't. 2012, they tried to build it for touch applications, everyone hated it. And they took away our start bar. Don't take my start bar. But then they brought it back in Windows 8.1. But we were so burnt by it, no one did it. They got smart and they released Windows 10 in 2015. Which was amazing. We just left that version. It brought us Cortana, which we don't use, and the Edge browser, which is actually pretty cool now. And finally, we're at Windows 11. Windows 11 gave us a better virtual desktop, so we can do stuff like this. That's how you do it, hold on. Oh yeah, this little guy over here, right? No. Oh, it's this guy. Why couldn't I find that? Yeah, create a new desktop, kind of neat. Again, I don't use it. Ever. And we got, widgets, I think, and the apps look different in our start menu, which you can't really call a start menu. I mainly just do Windows key. Okay, I'm rambling. Things look visually different, they perform better, and it's what we're using now. That was Windows history. In exactly 60 seconds, I did it. Right? Yes. But what if I told you that's not everything? There's another world of Windows that you don't even know about. They were released around the same time of each edition. They were hiding in the background. I'm talking about Windows servers. I'm not gonna go over everything, but here's a list of all of them released over the years, starting with Windows NT 3.1 in 1993. And now we're at Windows Server 2022. Notice they have a yearly naming scheme now, starting in Windows 2000. But that's the first big thing I want you to know about Windows that you probably didn't know. There are servers, Windows servers. But why? Like, what is that for? Because as a user, you're probably just familiar with Windows 10, Windows 11, using the desktop, using the laptop, gaming. What's the server do? Let's talk about that. A server provides services. So like right now, you're watching me on YouTube, right? This service is being provided by a web server somewhere. In fact, everything you visit on the internet is a server providing you a service. So when we're talking about Windows Server, what is it providing services to? Well, in a company, you might be running Windows Server 2022 in your data center, and then deployed out to all your employees will be Windows 11 on their desktops, on their laptops, whatever it is. And the Windows Server is doing some pretty cool stuff, like centrally managing user accounts through a little tool we like to call Active Directory. Active Directory is huge. It's a skill you have to learn. And think about what it does. Instead of an admin having to go to each machine and creating a user account for each user, which would be tedious, time-consuming, and frankly, maddening. I'm kind of going crazy just writing this out multiple times. Can you imagine actually creating it? Oh my gosh. Instead of doing that, I've got a server spun up right here. You would launch ADUC, or Active Directory Users and Computers, and create a new user, Bernard Hackwell. By the way, on the help desk, you'll probably end up doing this a lot. So if you already know this skill, if you can say, yeah, I've done that before. I've got my own lab at home. I've got this running. That's pretty killer. Let's go and finish creating this user. And what's crazy is that user I just created, he can log in to any of the computers at my company. Doesn't matter where he goes. He tries to log in, the server running Active Directory will handle the authentication. The server will also act as centralized storage, creating shares, network shares, through the file and storage service. Create a new one right now. This creates a network folder that can be accessed by anyone given permission using the SMB protocol, which you'll learn a lot about if you study Windows. And then this thing will blow your mind. Windows servers have a thing called group policy, which allow them to control everything about all the workstations in the company. Everything, down to the smallest little thing. And actually check this out, if you're running Windows right now, you can try this. Every Windows computer has what's called local group policy, and you can do crazy things. Try this. We're gonna open it up, so hit your start bar. Search for group policy, and you have the option to edit group policy, or you may not. You may not have permission. Someone blocked you with group policy. And you can do things like, let me find it, preventing access to command prompt. Enable it, apply, okay. Try to launch it, it's been disabled. I always hated that when it happened to me. Or you can disable removable USB drives. So if someone had a Flipper Zero and they were trying to use the bad USB function, they try to plug it into your computer, but you would change this setting. Deny read access, enabled. Bad USBs can't hurt you, sorry. Whew, I was gonna drop that. Let's put it back safe in its drawer. Now just take a moment and appreciate how many things you're able to change here that aren't just available in the regular menu, like control panel and stuff. And then think about how you can do this on a server. Just one little change in group policy on the server. And you can apply this to computers, you can apply it to users. It's insanely powerful, insanely fun. I used to love deploying things through group policy. It's also kind of dangerous. You gotta be careful. Don't just go crazy with it if you have access. And by the way, there's nothing stopping you from setting up your Windows computers in your house with a Windows server controlling them. I actually do that right now for my daughters. I control everything they do on their computers with group policy. It's awesome and needed. You know what I mean if you have daughters or sons. I mean, kids are crazy. Now, I'm just scratching the surface on what servers can do. It takes an entire course just to talk about it, an entire certification. We'll cover that here in a moment. But what's crazy is in talking about the big world of Windows that you don't know, I haven't even talked about the cloud. Microsoft Azure. Microsoft is all about the cloud. They're pushing everyone to it. Now, what's the cloud? It's just someone else's computer. Instead of having a server here in my closet here, I do have a server room. Instead of putting it here, I would put it in Microsoft's data center and they would run it for me. And everything I've talked about regarding servers can be done in Microsoft Azure, and kind of at a crazy scale, and it can do a lot more. I mentioned Active Directory. Well, we have Azure Active Directory. You can deploy virtual machines, which are Windows machines up in the cloud. I'll actually show you how to do that here in a moment. People run their entire companies in the cloud. They even have their users accessing remote desktops that are running it in Azure. So instead of like logging into a computer at their desk, they log into a computer at their desk that actually is somewhere else. It doesn't make any sense. It's really cool, but it's amazing. It does make total sense if you study it and learn it, which you should. The cloud, Microsoft Azure, that's a skill set that you should learn. And when you do learn it well, that's big money. That's a skill companies will pay for. I'll cover how you can learn that here in a bit. Now, speaking of the cloud, let's talk about how you can get access to Windows and build your own lab. And I don't care if you already have a Windows machine right now. I mean, you can play with Windows on your current machine, but if you're like me, you tend to play too much and break it. So if you want to avoid breaking your own stuff, it's helpful to build out another Windows machine that you can feel good about breaking and then just destroy it, build it up again, which you can totally do. Now, to build your own Windows lab, you do have a number of options. I'm going to show you two right now. One you probably already saw coming. Build your lab in Microsoft Azure. I love this option because it kind of gives you the best of everything. Not only are you building a lab to learn Windows, but in the process of building that lab, you're learning Microsoft Azure. That is huge. Are you kidding me? And anyone can do it. And starting out, it'll be completely free. So to set up a Microsoft Azure account, I mean, there is one kicker that people are gonna be like, oh, Chuck, you said it was free. This is stupid. Why? Chill with me here. It does require you having a credit card when you get signed up. They do that for a couple reasons. Well, really one main reason. They want to make sure you're an actual person. And that's how they verify you're a person. But they won't charge you for anything unless you say, yes, I want to be charged this amount of money. So you'll set up a free tier account, and right off the bat, you'll get a $200 credit for the first 30 days to do a lot of stuff. And let me give you an example. So I did go out to Google and I searched for Microsoft Azure. You should do this right now. You'll see here the option to set up a free account, and you can start free with the $200 credit as promised. And they have a lot of services that are free all the time. So if you want to try this, by all means do it. And once you have it, check this out. This is Bernard Hackwell's free Azure account right now. He's on the free tier. I have a Windows Server and Windows 11 running. In fact, that server I was showing you earlier, running in Azure for free. That Windows 11 machine, also running in Azure. I've been running these off and on for a few days, and it's only charged me $3.64 of my $200 free credit. Now, even after your free credit, running stuff in the cloud can be really fun as a lab because they only charge you for what you use. It's pay as you go. So for example, using their pricing calculator, I'm pricing out a Windows 11 machine with this particular sizing because it does matter how big your machine is, how much RAM and CPU. This will cost me about 12 cents an hour, as you can see here. And it's only going to charge me that while it's running. If I shut it down, I'm not being charged for it. So imagine this, you set up a Windows lab in Azure. Let's say it's 4 machines, a couple servers, a couple Windows VMs, let's say 12 cents an hour, and you study for an hour. What's that, 48 cents, 50 cents? Let's call it 50 cents. It costs you 50 cents that day to do your lab. I think it's a pretty cool way to do it. Probably my favorite way, and I always use Azure when I'm deploying Windows stuff and playing with it. It's my go-to. And while I got you here, let me show you how easy it is to create a virtual machine in Azure. So once you do have your account set up, you might be kind of like, oh, Chuck, where do I go? Because it can be kind of a lot. Large companies use this, enterprises use this to run their entire company. But once you're in Azure, you can click on the little menu icon on the left and click on Create a Resource. You'll search for what you want to create. For you, it might be Windows 11. Just hit Enter. And if you're using the free tier, you'll want to use the Windows 11 Preview, which is just an advanced version of Windows, previewing the newest stuff. Create that. There's just a few things you have to change, like the name of it. If you scroll down a bit, you can change the size of it. This will change how much you'll be charged per month. This one actually is a pretty good machine. Put in your username and password, one you want to create right now. Check this licensing box. And then there's one thing I always change, just really one more thing. I'll go over to, I'll scroll to the top, click on monitoring. I will, under boot diagnostics, click disable. And that's pretty much it. We'll click on review and create. It's gonna make sure everything's good to go. Validation has passed, and then we'll click on create. And just give it a minute, take a little coffee break. I mean, it is building an entire computer for you in the cloud, so give it some time. Now, while that's cooking, I do want to show you one thing to give you some peace of mind. Many of you may be worried, okay, am I gonna be charged a ton of money? I've heard horror stories about the cloud making people go bankrupt. No, that's not gonna happen to you, and let me show you how you can make sure of that. We're gonna go to the left here, top left, and display all our services stuff. At the bottom left, we have cost management and billing. Click on that. Here it shows you everything that's going on. It'll show you your free credits and how much stuff you have remaining. It'll show you what you have due. So for now, if you're using the free tier, you'll have nothing due. And again, once the free tier is over, that 30 days, and you do have services still up, they're not gonna charge you for those services. They're gonna say, hey, you still have stuff up. Do you wanna start a pay-as-you-go subscription? And you can say yes or no. And if you don't do anything, they're just gonna shut it down. No big deal. Now let's say you do start your subscription, and you're worried that you might be overcharged or forget a virtual machine was up or something. You can fix that real easy. You can go to cost alerts over here on the left, and we can add a new budget. I'll name it, I don't want to go broke, please. And we can set a monthly budget, like maybe it's 20 bucks. And when we hit an actual budget of 50%, send me an alert to this email. Now let's go look at our virtual machine and try to access it real quick. Let's go to our menu. We'll go to resource groups. A resource group is kind of like a folder containing a bunch of resources. And when you created a virtual machine, you created one as well. Here I have my Windows 11 machine group that was created for me. And inside that, I've got a few resources, mainly my Windows 11 machine right here with a little computer icon. If I click on him, he's launched, ready to go. If I want to connect to him, I got a little connect button up here at the top left. Click on connect. We're gonna connect via RDP, and then we'll download the RDP file right here. Notice it downloaded a file. Here on Windows, I'll just click it, click on connect, enter the account information I configured when I first set it up. And just like that, I have a Windows machine in the cloud that I can log into, mess with, break, destroy, whatever, anytime I want. And you can access this from anywhere, from any device, even your phone, using a remote desktop. It's very easy, but if you'd like me to walk you through it, I've got it in my course. Now, if you want to stop your virtual machine and stop it being charged for it, we can go to Overview and simply click on Stop. Yep, I want to stop it, and it'll stop your virtual machine. If you want to delete it, remove it. The best way to do that, most of the time, is to delete the entire resource group that the virtual machine is part of. So if I go back to my resource groups and click on my 11 machine group, I can click on Delete Resource Group. It'll ask you to confirm by typing the name in. So my Win 11 machine underscore group, and then delete everything in there because you'd have a network security group, you've got a firewall group and a public IP. Oh, delete it again, here we go, delete it. So it'll clean up everything for you. Now beyond Azure, you can also run everything local, setting up your own virtual machines on your own computer. Now this option is also very, very fun, but only fun if you have enough resources. Now what do I mean by that? Well, if you're not familiar with virtual machines, first of all, go watch my video. I detail everything about them. But just know when you're running a virtual machine, you're running another computer on your computer you have right now. And much like inviting a new person to live with you, you're gonna have to share resources with that new person or with that new computer. And my question for you is, does your computer right now have enough resources to spare? And what I mean is this, if you open up your task manager here in Windows, just go to your search bar, search for task manager, there it is. And you'll see right here we have a little performance graph icon that we can click on. This will tell you how many resources your computer is using right now. The main concern for virtual machines will be memory and the amount of disk space you have. CPU is definitely a concern, but for most machines, it's gonna not really be a problem. Memory is a big one. Now, if you can see from mine right now, I have 64 gigs of memory and I'm only using 50%. And that's running all my stuff right now. So I know I could probably create 4, 5, 6, 7 virtual machines because I have so much memory available to spare. If you're rocking a 4 GB memory laptop or something, you're in trouble, buddy. I wouldn't do anything with virtual machines. But if you have 8 to 16, you can probably run a few. And what that's gonna look like is downloading a hypervisor, a free one called VirtualBox, and then downloading a Windows 11 ISO or Windows Server 2022. You can get a free trial version and download any of these for free. Let me walk you through that real quick. It's not too crazy. You can go to Google and simply search for download Windows 11. It'll be the first link in the search, and you can just download an ISO for x64 devices. Download now, choose your language, and then simply click on download. Now, I do want to caution you with this. You do want to make sure that you have an x86, x64 system. Most people do, unless you're running the new MacBooks like M1, M2, Apple Silicon. This is not going to work for that. The new MacBooks are built with ARM processors, meaning you'll need an ARM-based OS. Now, Windows 11 does have an ARM-based OS, but it's kind of difficult to get access and find a good ISO to use with VirtualBox. But there is a really easy way to do that with Parallels. Parallels is a hypervisor similar to VirtualBox, but it's not free, but they make it super easy to download Windows 11. So if you want to try it out, they do a free trial for 14 days, and the first thing they ask you to do is install Windows 11, which they make it just, it's so stupid easy. I don't know why it's so hard for everyone else. But once you have your Windows 11 ISO, you'll want to go download VirtualBox. So you'll just search for VirtualBox and my Google. Click on that first link and download it for whatever I'm using. If you have an Intel-based Mac, it'll probably work for you. Windows host Linux distributions that got your back. Download and install that. It's a basic installation. If you run into any issues specific to virtual machines and working with VirtualBox, check out my virtual machine video. I do demo and detail a few things that might be a bit of a stumbling block for you. But once you have VirtualBox up and running, you simply click on New, type in what you want to build. Windows 11, that's what I want to name it. Just type in machine, select your ISO. I would skip the unattended installation, click on Next. Notice it does default to 4 gigs of memory. That's the minimum required for Windows 11. 2 virtual CPUs, that's fine. You can increase it if you want. 80 gigabytes of storage. It's not gonna pre-allocate the entire thing. Next, next, finish. And all you gotta do is start that sucker up and install Windows 11 like it's a brand new laptop. It's kinda cool. And you do have to hit the key to say, I wanna boot from the CD. I made that mistake earlier. I forgot to do it. And that process works for any server OS you wanna go with, unless you're using Mac M1 processors, because you can get a free trial of any server OS right now for Windows. It's pretty amazing. Now, how can you learn Windows in a structured way? I'm a big fan of this. Now, you can play with Windows all day, but if you want to get serious, you'll want some kind of course or structured learning plan like a certification to take you deeper into things that you wouldn't even think about learning. There are 2 options I want to cover right now: certifications and courses. Let's start with certifications. Now, you know I love certifications. The first one I would recommend is the CompTIA A+. Now, there's good and bad with this. The good is that, man, it covers so much in the certification. If you want to become an IT person, if you want to get started on the help desk, get your first job in IT, the A+ is a great start. It was my certification. But it covers everything from USBs to tablets to some Linux stuff. It'll have a section on Windows OS and the basics of what you need to know. It won't cover everything Windows. So even some of the stuff we covered in this video, they're not going to talk about. It's going to be very basic. But it is a great starting point. And it will look pretty good on your resume. It'll help you get a job. Now, the other option is going Microsoft specific. Microsoft does have certifications. Let's go to Microsoft's certification place and we'll talk about it. Now, I do love Microsoft certifications. Like, you'll learn a ton going through them. My only beef with them is that they change so much. And here's the problem with that. When you're getting a certification, one of the main considerations is that you want something that's marketable. So think CCNA, CompTIA A+. If you put that on your resume, you know when an HR person or a hiring manager sees that, they know what it is, and they know what you know. Microsoft kind of struggles with that. They used to have what's called the MCSA, which is very recognized. It was like similar to the CCNA, but then they did away with it. And I don't even know like I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what the certifications are, apart from the Azure ones, which are marketable. So let's talk about that right now. Now first, let's go Windows specific. A brand new one that I really like if you want to learn Windows and Windows Desktop at a deeper level is the MD102, the Microsoft 365 Certified Modern Desktop Administrator Associate. And I say modern because you're going to be learning about it from the 365 view, which is like their cloud version of how to manage stuff. I'm not going to go deep into that now, but it does include Microsoft 365, some Azure, but also a lot of managing and deploying and fixing and supporting Microsoft Windows. Now again, I don't see a lot of people asking specifically for this because no one knows about it. You're going to be doing this one for the knowledge. And if a hiring manager does happen to look at you, they like you, and they ask you, hey, what is this thing? You can tell them, hey, latest and greatest, I know my stuff. Then they'll go, oh, okay. But it's getting past that initial HR screen that this might give you a problem with. Now, beyond this one, they have the Microsoft Certified Windows Server Hybrid Administrator Associate, a mouthful and a half. This one's more server focused. I would recommend if you're going hog wild with Windows, go to the MD102 first, and then jump into this guy. Looks like it does take 2 exams to land the certification, the AZ800 and 801. And they say hybrid because they're talking about on-prem and a data center, and also in the cloud, Microsoft Azure. A lot of companies are living in both worlds right now, hybrid. And then if you want to go full on cloud, which I've gotten both of these certifications I'm about to recommend to you, and actually taught courses on them as well. These certifications are fantastic. We have the beginner version, the AZ900. Microsoft Certified Azure Fundamentals. If you're new to cloud, perfect. If you're not new to cloud, jump straight into the AZ104, Azure Administrator Associate. Landing these 2 certifications makes you crazy valuable. If you want to get started in IT, man, having this will be solid. I have to say this, it will help to know a bit of Windows before you start these, because these are very cloud focused. They're focusing on deploying stuff in Microsoft Azure, but they're assuming you already know how to deploy Windows and what servers are like. They're assuming a lot, and they're assuming you can take that knowledge and then learn how to deploy that in the cloud. So as a prerequisite, I would say learn Windows. And that was from the certification perspective. But I don't necessarily think you need a certification to learn Windows. Learning Windows can be done in a course that gives you enough to move on to the more advanced things. That's part of the reason right now I have a Windows Fundamentals course on my academy. It is currently in development and will probably be finished by the time you see this, and you can look at it linked below right now. But in that course, I give you enough to be dangerous with Windows and enough to step forward to the next things and not feel like a fish out of water. So you could step forward into the Azure world and not feel like, I don't know Windows. You'll have enough skills. Or if you want to become a hacker, you can learn enough Windows in this course to move forward and be dangerous and start learning more advanced things. It's fundamentals. It's giving you a good foundation. Other courses I love are on Hack the Box Academy. They have a Windows Fundamentals course that is mostly actually all text-based. So if you enjoy reading, you'll have a good time. And they do have labs built into it, which is really honestly pretty killer. That's all I got. I'll catch you guys next time.